helped me to reach 2,000 subscribers. I woke up to the sound of my wife whispering in the dark. At first, I thought she was praying, soft, rhythmic words slipping between breaths. But then I realized she was on the phone. The glow of the screen lit her face in faint blue, her eyes half closed, lips curving into a faint, private smile. "Are you still thinking about it?" she murmured, her voice trembling slightly. I should have gone back to sleep. It was late, close to 2 a.m., and she often took calls from work. Being a PR consultant meant late clients, international campaigns, odd hours. I'd never questioned it. Not until that night. She paused, then whispered something so softly I barely caught it. But it wasn't her words that froze me. It was a reply. My own voice, faint and low, whispered through the phone speaker. A chill crawled down my spine. It wasn't possible. My first thought was absurd, that someone was using an old recording of me, maybe from a voice memo or video clip. But her laugh, the nervous, tender kind I hadn't heard in months, cut through that logic. She wasn't startled. She was responding to him. To me. I waited until she ended the call and turned off the light. She rolled over and fell asleep instantly, her breathing steady. I lay awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, the faint hum of the fan slicing through my thoughts. The next morning, she acted normal. Coffee, hair tied up, phone in hand, a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. I wanted to ask who she'd been talking to, but the truth felt too fragile to confront head-on. Instead, I pretended. I kissed her cheek, told her to drive safe. Then I followed her. She didn't go to her office. She drove across town to a cafe I'd never seen her visit before, one tucked behind an art gallery. She walked in, phone in hand, and sat by the window. A few minutes later, a man joined her. He looked familiar. Tall, dark hair, same posture, same watch as mine, a limited edition Omega I bought years ago. But it wasn't mine. The band was newer, the face unscratched. He leaned forward, laughing, his voice carrying faintly through the glass. And then I heard it again. My voice. He spoke exactly like me. The tone, the cadence, the small pauses between words. It was my voice, my mannerisms. Even his smile mirrored mine, slightly crooked to the left. My breath caught. For a moment, I wondered if I was losing my mind. If sleep deprivation, suspicion, or jealousy were blending into hallucination. But then I saw her hand reach across the table, touch his cheek, her thumb tracing the scar that ran below his ear. The same scar I had. No, that couldn't be. I blinked hard, heart pounding, the edges of my vision blurring. When they stood to leave, she leaned in and kissed him, slow, deliberate, like someone claiming what was already his. And when they stepped into the light, my world split in two. The man wasn't me. Not entirely. He was almost me. Slightly younger, cleaner shaven, a few pounds lighter, but the resemblance was terrifying. He was like a living, breathing copy of me, a version carved from memory and fantasy. That night, when she returned home, I tried to act normal. How was work? I asked, my voice steady. Exhausting, she said, dropping her bag. You wouldn't believe the client drama. I studied her. The faint trace of a different cologne clung to her jacket. She smelled like him, like me, but not. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I needed to understand who he was. Over the next week, I dug deeper. I checked her phone when she showered, memorized numbers, traced call logs. Most were hidden behind encryption apps, but one recurring name stood out, Noah. When I searched the name online, I found him, Noah Rains, voice actor, specializing in custom audio experiences and immersive emotional role play. My stomach turned. On his website were samples of his work, soothing tones, romantic scenarios, simulated conversations. And one of the testimonials read, "It felt like being with him again, even though he's gone." I scrolled down to the list of voice styles available for purchase and froze. Custom clone package. Upload your partner's recording for a fully replicated voice experience. The realization hit me like a blow. She'd uploaded me. Hours of my voice, calls, voicemails, maybe even old videos. She'd built him out of fragments of me. A digital echo she could talk to, flirt with, confess to, without ever facing the real person I'd become. A cheaper, gentler, edited version of me. When I confronted her, I didn't scream. I just asked, quietly, "Who's Noah?" She froze. The color drained from her face. "What are you talking about?" "You've been calling him. Late at night." I heard my voice. Her eyes flicked to the floor. "It's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is." Tears welled up. "You stopped talking to me, Daniel. You used to whisper things in the dark, about us, about the future. Then it all just stopped. I missed your voice. I miss how it used to sound before everything got heavy. So you hired someone to pretend to be me. Here's not you. Here's how you were. Kind, gentle, warm. I just wanted to hear you again, the way you used to be." Her words cut deep because part of me understood. We'd been distant. Work, bills, quiet dinners filled with unsaid things. I'd stopped noticing her perfume, her late nights, her silences. But still, this? "You built a fantasy," I said, "and you let him replace me." She stepped closer. "I never cheated on you. I just needed something to remind me of what we lost." I looked into her eyes, honest, broken, and realized she wasn't lying. But that didn't make it less of a betrayal. "You didn't want me, Laura," I whispered. "You wanted my ghost." She reached out, but I stepped back. That night, I left the house. I drove aimlessly until the sky began to pale. When I finally stopped, I played one of the old voicemails she'd kept from me, my own voice saying I loved her. It sounded foreign, like someone I'd never met. Weeks later, I saw a new post on Noah's site. A new testimonial. "Thank you, Noah. It feels real again. It feels like it's still here." Attached was her name. That's when I called him. When he answered, his voice, my voice, spoke softly through the line. "Laura's not here right now," he said. "Can I take a message?" And I hung up, trembling, realizing she hadn't just replaced me. She'd chosen to live in a world where I never changed, where I'd never grown distant, never failed to love her perfectly. A world where the man she loved was only an illusion, and I was just the echo she left behind.